Okie pokey weirdos, I'm Rev, and welcome to my world of cosplay shenaniganery. In this video, I am hoping to finish my Lucy Lacemaker fursuit. Not exactly finished the way I want, because we got this fursuit body right here. She's not quite done. She still needs a little bit of fur here and there. And I need to finish refurbishing her head.
Day 1 was about wrestling my duct tape dummy out of her box down in the dungeon. Video linked in the corner.
Okay, time for a bodysuit. Okay, feet first.
And then I rode the struggle bus all the way through getting this bodysuit onto her.
Now that I've drugged this all upstairs from being down in the nerd dungeon, I have to reacquaint myself with all of the pieces. Excuse me if I don't talk a whole lot for this part, because I still have a cold at the moment. I've got a cold! At the very tail end of it, and my voice comes and goes.
Let's go over what's in this bin. White fur scraps, white teeth vinyl, tail pattern, available on Etsy, leather nail scraps, nails, hat,
Nice.
red fur yardage, tail, scarf fabric with tiny little red hearts instead of polka dots, hand paws, red fur scraps, and various body pieces. Now this is why I stress so hard over labeling all of my pieces.
Rawr.
Because I left this costume alone for years, but was able to come back to it and puzzle this fur back together in 1 week because I labeled every single piece.
Now that I have gone through the whole bin and I've familiarized myself with all the pieces again, I think I have an idea of what I'm doing. Also, I want to completely remake her fursuit body since I know how to do it correctly now, and this one I made in 2019 and I know all of the mistakes that I made with this, and I want to update that. This suit is severely janky and old and falling apart, and it was my very first fursuit that I ever built, so it very much says beginner to me now. However, I am going to finish this one so I know it's done and we can get a video out. Firstly, I need to re-hot glue a bunch of the foam back to the body base because everything's been letting up and releasing over the number of summers that this thing has been sitting in my basement or being moved around, because I've moved twice since I have created this bodysuit. But I'm just going to hot glue and sew everything directly onto this thing so it can get done quicker, because this fur is extremely cheap. I got it from the HL Demon that I do not like shopping from anymore. For many reasons. And all of these really cheap materials that are falling apart are not going to be as much of a hassle because I'm going to get it done as quickly as possible. After hot gluing down everything that has been coming up, the next thing I want to fix is, if you look here, everything is yellowing because it is that old. One of the things that have yellowed that we really don't want yellow is, if we look inside her chest here, I recreated the Halloween teeth.
Yellow Eve, cunt!
And they didn't yellow as much as the rest of the foam because they were down inside here, but these teeth were haphazardly chopped out of scrap foam and they have been yellowing, so I want to rip these out and put new ones in. Once I get this suit all together, it'll work great for filming shorts and little videos, but to take this to a con, I really need to make a proper fursuit, and is actually more like a stuffed animal sleeve, but the stuffing you put in it is a human. Luckily, I have actually done most of the work for this bodysuit already. I really just need to attach all the fur. Time to get to it! Or I could just take a nap. Prepare for a montage of a whole bunch of hand sewing.
Then I went through my EVA foam scrap box to find the perfect candidates for making some teeth for her chest cavity.
Day 2 of finishing up this fursuit. And I gotta hot glue some fur to her butt cheeks. Ooh, let's get to it. And I have this panel here where it separates from fur to bedsheet because I'm going to attach the red fur to these panels. Originally, I was going to make them Velcro attachments so it'd be easier to wash this suit, but because I'm not planning to keep this suit, I'm going to do a light layer of hot glue, unlike what I did with dumping a whole bunch here. Just do little bitty outlines and attach the red fur, because the red fur is much higher quality fur that I got from Fursuit supplies, and I want to be able to save that and reuse that for something else. Gotta get her bikini line here. Where's those scissors? I pulled them over here. Where'd I squash them? Around you go. Day 3 of working on this fursuit body. All I really need on this girly now is red fur, aside from this arm still needs white fur, and this boot still needs white fur. Otherwise, it's red fur and her toenails. Let's hope I can get that done today. Oh, it won't rip. It's too high quality fur. Chest floof. Sliced. What's next? Hip floof. Fur needs to be going down. Let's chop off this ridiculously long sliver. I know where I cut out extra stuff from. I had to make her tail. Duh. Need to figure out how far around this is wrapping. Light, come back! I can't see what I'm doing!
And I purposely left a flap of the red on the back overlapping the zipper to hide the zipper without having as much of a problem of fur getting caught in that zipper.
I thought I had all the toenails done. I thought wrong. This is what I'm looking for. This is the exact same thing that I used for the fingernails. However, back in the day when I was making the nails, I thought I would need more coverage for the toes. Knowing that I didn't have enough of this material, I used a different color fabric for the underside of the toe, knowing that no one would see it. This is way too big. This is the perfect size. I have to seam rip all of these because I made all 10 like this. More work to do. Lots of old issues to fix. Also, injury warning. Skip to this timestamp if you do not want to see it. I got a blister from the hot glue. I have a special hot glue gun that allows me to turn up the heat very high. And I screwed up when I was making the red chest because while working down in the chest cavity, I couldn't completely see what was going on. And when I saw a fur clump sitting off to the side in a space where I didn't want it, I reached out to grab it. Turned out that fur clump was a huge glob of hot glue with fur stuck to it. So it stuck to my thumb and blistered it. It is very ouchy. I'm just glad it's not on my dominant hand. We're moving on.
Service. You can find your own way home. And try to stay out of trouble. The Emperor is not.
1, 2,
Bye!
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
I started making her spots out of red scraps and shaving away white fur when necessary to remove bulk. Then hot gluing down the red scrap circles. And I highly suggest you wear a face covering for shaving fake fur because you do not want those teeny tiny particles of plastic in your lungs.
And now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 toesies. Then I have to cover all this yellow foam in white fur. And that's what the scraps are for. That's too small. What direction are you? Blends right in. Woohoo! And flip. Ooh, that's a pretty good piece. And smush. And fold over. Glue. Nope, not more glue. Need another stick. Now more glue. Sound effects required. Ha, my evil plan worked. Little armpit patch right there. And I'm gonna put this little friend in that spot. Stick. The armpit patch. Stick. Couldn't even tell. Yes. Moving on. Come down a little more. And you come here. And I did make a post this morning asking what kind of teeth Lucy should have in her head by the end of all of this. Quick question for you. Lucy's teeth. Are we going with the sewn vinyl teeth? Or we have carved EVA foam teeth? You've got 24 hours. Please let me know in the comments, and thank you very much. So make sure you're subscribed or following me on other social medias or my Patreon and Ko-fi so that you can be in on the voting for other costumes and projects that are coming up. And now I'm out of stick. Come on! As soon as I turn on the camera.
And now I feel like it's time for a jam session with Rev. Are you ready?
Don't like weapons, they wound sometimes. I know I made you cry. If I could reach the stars, I'd give them all to you.
Do you have that song stuck in your head now? Good. Then we can keep rolling. And he used the polka dots to cover up any of the weird little seams or bumps that came up from hot gluing this thing instead of properly sewing it.
Polka dot arms. Because her gums are slightly off from that shade of pink that the inside of her ears were, I'm gonna go in and dry brush some pink to make it match the pink of the ears, and then dry brush red to make it match the ears. And now with this one in there, you can actually see the difference what the dry brushing did. Hopefully the camera picks that up pretty nicely, because it is a big enough difference that you can see it, especially when comparing it to the pink of the ears. And then once everything's dry brushed pink, I'll go in and do the spotty red bits like I have in the ears. Now it's time to get all these EVA foam teeth in here. That's going to take a bit, but we'll get there. Question is that too long? It might be a little too long. I'd rather the teeth be slightly too short than way too long, because I'd like to be able to get the mouth mostly closed. Yeah, no sliding, just sticking. A little snaggle tooth. No, no, no. Still needs to be shorter. I'm too easily amused. Yeah, that's way too long. Nom, 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 nom. Right now she kind of looks like an evil beaver. I'm still not super happy with these teeth, but I think at this point it's a trust the process type of situation. So I'm going to keep working on putting these in her face and slimming them down and adding more, and we'll see where we're at once I've filled her face up. I figured out what I didn't like about the teeth, so I ripped them out of her face and I made them all a little more uniform, because her teeth are almost perfectly all the same size and width. Aside from the fact of making them smaller to fit deeper into her face in some places. But now I made them as uniform as I can to all of
each other, and they're not nearly as chunky anymore either. Hopefully they'll fit in her face now. Let's see.
Next, I made a quick tongue, and it's detachable thanks to the magnets I put in her bottom jaw. It's also posable thanks to the wire I put in the middle of the 2 layers of vinyl, and dumping a whole bunch of hot glue on top of that. And finally, her scarf.
Got a raw edge right here that's already folded itself over, and I was frayed as much as I think it's gonna fray, so we're gonna use that to our advantage. Too easily amused.
With that ruffled, here's Lucy! Psych, that was only the test fit. So let's talk about what needs fixing.
After doing the test run a couple nights ago, because I took a day off, now I know what things I need to fix. The largest majority of the issues were within the inside of the head because it's a very old head and I didn't actually fix anything inside. I did skip out on the whiskers because they would be something that would be a little more difficult to undo if I did them and didn't like them. Otherwise, what I need to do on the inside of the head is clean up any loose threads or fabrics because I had been tickled and made my face all itchy with all of those in there. Also, the moving jaw mechanism sits too far back when the collar is around my neck because it pushes the head down. So I have to shorten the distance of how far back that mechanism goes, as well as the right sleeve was shorter than the left sleeve, so I need to add a little extension to that. Let's do it! I also need to alter the collar because it was too fat, as well as being just a little too short. The thickness here, proportionally to her picture, would have been correct, but proportionally to my body, not so much. Because my neck is not nearly as long as hers. So we're gonna slim this down so it fits under my fursuit chin, and then I need to add a couple inches at the end.
Okay, you've waited long enough. Now you can see the finished product.
Swagger down the street with your red lips and funky beat. You better hold your head up to the sky. I'm gonna roll with you till the day I die. Hey, swing those hips around. Can't stop, roll back down. My ladies, short, tall, thin or wide, always down and ready to ride. One by one, billion by billion, been holding up half the sky. Raise your hand if you're ready and willing, if you know it's time. Time for a girl on time. Time for a girl on time.
And that's how I finished my first full body fursuit. I'll be honest and let y'all know that I initially glued one of the arm sleeves to the top of one of the feet. And it's not because it wasn't labeled correctly, but because I had a cold and I was not paying enough attention. That's what happens when you don't let your body rest, so please take care of yourselves. I greatly appreciate you spending time with me and this fluffy girl. So go check out Sam Finna's content because he was the one who gave me permission to make this suit, and he just recently released his audiobook. Please support the original creator of this fabulous character. And please remember those subs, comms, thumbs, and a ding, because I will be making short form content of Lucy as well. And that's where you'll be able to see more of those pointy teeth. Nom nom. And welcome to the madness.
Nope, it's gonna stab me. It's stabbing me. Stop stabbing me.
Nope, there goes that cat. Meow, meow.